Welcome to the Wareham Conservation Commission meeting of Wednesday, September 21st, 2022. Please introduce yourselves and go around the table.
Good evening, Kwame Barty.
Denise Schultz.
Mike Mercier.
Dave Pichette, Conservation Administrator.
Sandy Slavin.
Nicole Licurdo.
Carol Melanson.
Jessica Parr.
And Jessica, welcome. She is our new member. She is an associate, and we're very pleased to have her on board. Thank you. We have no public hearings, so we'll go right on to the continued hearings. And before I start, I need to let people know that Scott Green, 17 Murphy Street, has asked for a continuance. Wareham MA, Farrington Hill has asked for a continuance, and RSI from 42 Robinwood Road has asked for a continuance. So if anybody's here for the solar project, the pier, and the new house on Swiss Beach, we're not going to do anything with them tonight. We will continue them when we get to them on the agenda. The first up is Lisa and Erasmo Vetrano. Thank you. Please come up and identify yourselves. We did get your new plans.
Good evening. I'm Lisa Matrano, and
Good evening. I'm Mike Matrano, Lisa and Ray's son.
Okay. Mr. Burchett will read to the project. We have the new plans with your slopes and everything.
Okay, so this project site is at 22 Barnes Street and 51 Pleasant Street in the Swifts Beach area. And the project involves the replacement of a shed and the construction of a concrete patio, and this is within a coastal flood zone. An existing 10 by 10 foot shed is to be replaced with a new 9 foot 8 inch by 14 foot shed on a concrete slab. Work had already started at the site in terms of forming the area for the proposed shed and patio. These features would add an additional area of impervious surface to the property. The concern is additional runoff to neighboring properties, as these are very small lots, and we did have, as we discussed at the last meeting, an abutter that already has concerns about runoff issues. At the last meeting, we discussed the project and recommended that there need to be some changes to the plan, which involved depicting that the concrete between the proposed shed and the property line be pitched onto the applicant's property and not towards any neighboring property, and that the shed be connected into a dry well in terms of handling any runoff from that additional impervious area, along with the patio. So we did get a revised plan that shows those features on there. So I'll leave it up to the commission to see if they have any further questions or comments. But the only other comment that I spoke to the applicant about was there is a drain pipe that had been installed at some point in time, which dumps water out onto the street, or would if it were connected. The applicant claims that that has never been connected, but I am recommending that that needs to be removed because it's not something that should have been installed in the first place.
Okay. Michael, anything to add?
No, I have not removed the associated drain just yet. I'm waiting. I'm going to do everything all at once when I get back on site.
Okay,
But
thank you.
it is on.
Questions? Kwame?
So the proposed shed, they will have, and sorry, I didn't know, gutters or something, and then the drain will be going dry well.
That's correct. It was requested on the last meeting to add gutters, downspouts, and a French drain to tie into the existing dry well.
French drain, fun.
Denise?
No questions.
Michael?
The only thing is, we're going to address the issue of a possible fine, but not yet.
We will talk about that because they
Okay.
started the work before approval. Yes, before we close, we will be discussing a $300 fine, starting work before approval.
Yes.
I'll have to look at my fine schedule. Questions, Nicole?
No questions, thank you.
Carol?
No questions.
Jessica?
None.
I have no question. Is there anybody in the public that would like to comment on this project? Please, come forward and identify yourself.
Alison Tola, 20 Bond Street.
Yes?
Yeah, and this is my wife Lorraine, 20 Bond Street.
Hey, is there anything new you want to add from your last testimony?
Yes.
Last questions, okay.
Yes. Has this new plan been seen by the engineering?
It doesn't have to be, it's an RDA. This is not an engineered plan.
Everything, where I live, everything goes through the engineering. If you want to add to a piece of drive, it goes through engineering.
Where do you live?
Waltham.
That's not,
Any watershed goes through engineering.
we don't, I'm not aware of anything, are you?
Well, just to
Just us.
clarify, the town of Wareham does not have an engineering department, like some towns may. The town of Wareham does not have such a thing. So if that's what you're referring to, we don't have an engineering department.
Okay. All right. Who's going to monitor this project, especially if it's done on weekends?
Well, it'll be up to the building inspector to review the shed part, and we would have to come back and make sure that they've done it according to the plan, if the plan gets approved in terms of the pitch and everything like that. So we would be monitoring that as well.
Okay. And do we know that the dry wells and everything's going to accommodate all the water?
Well, that's something that's the applicant's going to have to make sure is sized appropriately, and as far as what the plan shows, it looks like for the square footage that they're talking about, it should be sufficient. But again, it depends on the rainfall event too. I mean, if you have a rainfall event that's catastrophic, no system's going to hold all that rain. So that's just the nature of
Right,
things.
right. But they have a head start where the ground is a foot higher than ours. That's a big head start. So, it's just that, I mean, most of the work's gonna be done on weekends. Are you gonna be able to go out?
Well, we're not going to be able to physically watch them do the work, but we would have to follow up with like any project. We're not able to watch every project as it's actually being constructed. We have to periodically go back and do site visits to make sure it's being done correctly.
Are we privy to the copies of those plans?
Yes, you can get a copy of the
So I can
plans.
get a copy of those
Yes,
plans? Okay.
Absolutely.
And these minutes to these meetings are on YouTube, as we discussed?
The meetings are, and the
The
minutes,
minutes.
once they officially get approved, then they'll be available in a written form, but the meetings themselves are on YouTube on video.
And they're actually on YouTube immediately, but the minutes to the meetings are typed up. What was the time frame of that?
Usually it's been taken about a month or so to get the minutes after a meeting is completed, so somewhere thereabouts.
Okay.
We are required by state law to have the minutes posted within within 3 meetings after they were, after the meeting, so. that's
And the
some-
appeal process to this, as we discussed, is, I have 10 days after this is, if this is approved, I have 10 days to appeal this, right? And then who gets involved after
This is
that?
an RDA. Do we have that limit?
Yes, there is a 10 business day appeal period to any decision that's made by the commission. And that appeal gets made to the Mass Department of Environmental Protection if that's something you wanted to entertain.
Right.
Yes.
So if this is approved tonight, I have to go to the Mass Department of Environmental Protection to appeal this.
If that's what you want to do, but you would have to wait for the actual formal decision to be issued, because that's what you'd need in order to make an appeal.
Okay.
So if you didn't have that, you have nothing to appeal at this point, so.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if this is appealed tonight,
If this is
Approved
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 tonight,
tonight, that means I have 10 days from the date of the approval to go to Mass Environmental Protection.
The way it works is we would issue the formal document, and once that formal document is issued, that's when the 10 business day appeal period starts.
Starts.
So that doesn't mean it starts from tonight if it gets approved tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It means it starts whenever I issue the document, which would be one day next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else? Thank you,
No,
thank you.
thank you.
Anybody else like to comment in the audience? I see no one.
I do want to add that we have letters, return receipts that I forgot to give to you last week.
Oh, green
last
cards.
time. Yep.
Yep.
And,
Just the green cards you
No,
want?
we'll take,
The whole
yep.
packet?
We also have letters of recommendations from abutters, you know.
Well, you hang on to that.
Just-
We'll just need the green cards. You can give Mr. Mr. Bichette for our
I'll-
file.
I can get copies of those at some point.
I have them on my computer, so you can
Okay.
We already have them scanned.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you. All right, someone really willing to close the hearing?
I move that we close the hearing.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
You don't vote. So we're 500 to close the hearing.
Approve the project, standard order of conditions with the
Oh,
removal
this,
of,
No.
this is
oh, no, this is an
determination.
RDA, right.
Yes, this
Uh,
would be a
rem- but
negative
there-
two.
-2, but a removal of a drainage pipe, is that what it's called?
Yes,
And per the updated plans.
yes.
Second.
That's the motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, yeah, beat up? Not quite. It looks like it's a $200 fine. Any work,
Thought it was 300.
no, 300 means full restoration. We're not in the restoration. The work got started that would have been permitted. Because wetlands are, if the work had been done in the 30-foot or 50-foot work zone, it would have been 300. Within the 100-foot work zone, it's a $200 fine. So would you like to modify your motion
So modified.
to be -2, approve the -2 project with a $200 fine for starting the work before approval
And the removal of the pipe.
and removal of a drain pipe? That be the motion?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. 600. Done. See Mr. Bichette before you start any work? Okay?
Okay.
The payment of the fine is done how?
You'll get something from me that will explain that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
all
you
right.
very
Thank you very much.
The next hearing is Robert Charles Malone. This is to construct a, identify yourselves for the record.
I'm Charles Purdy from C. Purdy Construction. Robert Malone, the trustee of the property.
Thank you. Mr. Bichette will read to the project. We're waiting for DEP, right?
Yep. Copies of that, yeah? Make copies? I have copies of that letter if you need it.
No. You want one? Please. No, I got the one I printed.
There's benefits to sitting over there. Yeah, the kids encounter that big. Is this one big no brain melt?
Okay, so the project site is at 79 Blackmore Pond Circle, and this project involves the construction of an addition and upgrading a septic system in the buffer zone to Blackmore Pond. 12 by 27-foot L-shaped addition is proposed, approximately 43 feet from the edge of the retaining wall along the pond, and also proposes a new Title V nitrogen-reducing septic system. The new system would be located up close to the road at the furthest point from the pond, but would still be in the buffer zone to the pond based on the size of the lot. At the last meeting, we had to continue the hearing because we did not have a DEP file number, which we have now received. So I would recommend the approval of the project with the standard conditions for this project.
Okay, anything to add?
No, ma'am.
Okay, questions? Kwame,
No questions, thank you.
Denise,
No questions.
Michael,
No questions?
Nicole,
No questions.
Carol,
No questions, thank you.
Jessica. I have none. Is there anybody in the audience would like to comment on this project? I'm seeing none.
Move to close the hearing?
Second.
I have a motion to close the hearing and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, 600.
To accept the project with a standard order of conditions?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
600. Thank you. The next hearing is...
you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Before you start anything, see Mr. Pichette for the paperwork, all right? And this is going back to you. I got one more coming.
Excuse me, Nicole.
Next hearing is Scott Green, 17 Murphy Street, request for continuance until 10/5.
Motion to continue until 10:05.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, is continued at 10/5. And that was for Green. Sorry, just trying to get my... Next hearing was for Wareham MA3, 91 Faring Hill Road. That was requested a continuance until 10/5.
Motion to continue till
10:05.
10:05.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, we're continued until 10:05. The next hearing is RESI, Robinwood Road for the pier. They requested a continuance until 10/05.
Motion to continue until 10:05.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, we're continued until 10:05. The next hearing is Paula Hamilton. I see they gave up the shed.
I think that was the final, outstanding issue of the project.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. We'll take care of it.
Thank you.
Sure.
Just share.
I have it. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, so.
Thanks.
Okay, Mr. Madden, please come forward and identify yourself for the record.
I'm Bill Madden from GAF Engineering, here on behalf of Paula Hamilton.
Thank you. Mr. Pichette will read to the record.
Okay, so the project site is at 44 Agawam Beach Road, and the project involves upgrading a septic system in the buffer zone to a coastal bank and a coastal beach, and also within a coastal flood zone. The existing system is to be replaced with a new Title V nitrogen-reducing system, and this would be approximately 50 feet from the seawall and 85 feet from the edge of the salt marsh. The new system is located in the furthest location possible on the lot, again, based on the small size of the lot. The leach field would be an elevated leach field and would have a 2 to 3 foot high block wall around it. We had an issue at previous meetings with a shed that has to be relocated to accommodate the new septic system. There didn't seem to be a good area within the small lot to be able to situate that and still be outside the setbacks to wetland resource areas. So at this point, they've just opted to remove that altogether, so that alleviates that whole problem. So therefore, I would recommend this project be approved with the standard order of conditions.
Okay. Bill, anything to add?
No, I have nothing to add.
Thank you. Questions, Kwame?
No questions, thank you.
Denise,
No questions.
Michael,
No questions?
Nicole,
No questions.
Carol,
No questions, thank you.
Jessica,
No questions.
and I have none. Anybody in the audience would like to comment on this project? Seeing none.
Move to close the hearing.
Second.
Move
I
to
have a
accept-
motion and a second to close the hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain, opposed. The hearing is closed.
Move to accept the project with the updated proposal of removal of the shed with a standard order of conditions.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 600. And so that's done. Please do not start the work until Mr. Bichette gets you the paperwork.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Got one left.
You got one left?
Last one. It's a quick minute.
I don't know. I'm facing FinCom as soon as I get out of here.
Maybe we should drag this out.
Waiting for lightning to strike. It never happens
Um,
like this.
What was this for? One we just did?
Yeah.
This has to go back.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, so this is
That one.
paperwork
That one
for
we got. Okay.
that one.
Yeah, we'll check.
And this is from a previous one. You put it away too fast.
All right, I'll take it. I know it.
Okay, so this is for Richard Grady. We have a new plan. And,
If anybody wants to see a full-size plan on this, I do have that. 'Cause these are a little small, but it's up to you. Comfortable with these,
I'd rather the,
full-size?
yeah, half blind, sorry. Great. Kwame?
Okay.
This is 67 Jefferson.
Yep.
Sure. It's a full-size. Anybody down there need a full-size, or are you good?
are you comfortable reading that? You want a full one?
That's fine.
Okay,
Rain melting. It's just more rain melting.
What's on that side of your spot?
All right.
you're up.
Okay. So the project site again is 67 Jefferson Shores Road, and the proposed project involves the demolition of an existing dwelling and the reconstruction of a new dwelling in the buffer zone to a coastal bank. It's proposed to demolish an existing 26 by 48-foot dwelling and reconstruct a new dwelling in the same footprint, and this would be approximately 23 feet from the top of the coastal bank. This site is the site that we had a previous violation on, where there was a block wall and fill put in place to create a parking area within the 30-foot no-activity zone to a coastal bank, and we issued an enforcement order on that, and actually ended up denying the project when it came in front of us as a notice of intent application as far as that part of the project. So when this new notice of intent was submitted, that feature was still left on the site plan. So we continued the hearing. We had a site meeting since the last meeting and this meeting to kind of go over what would need to happen in terms of getting that issue squared away if the applicant wanted this project to proceed. They did agree to remove the parking area as shown, and wanted to leave the walkway around the side of the garage, as there was a walkway there previously. And so this revised plan shows that parking area to be removed, regraded, and it was requested that that be replanted with vegetation as it was previously. and some shrubs added further down the side of the property to account for the altered area. So that's what we have in front of us at this point in time in terms of the revised plan. The house project is still the same as it was. We do have a DEP file number for this project, so at this point, I would recommend approval of the project based on this revised plan and the restoration of the violation, but I would want a condition put in place that that piece has to be removed prior to the construction or the issuance of any permitting for the house work. So that way it doesn't get left, and we make sure it's addressed as soon as possible. So the other condition would be to plant the disturbed area with the plantings as shown on the revised plan. And I think that's pretty much it.
Bill, anything to add?
No, this is the result of that on-site meeting we had with the attorneys of the applicant, town council as well. So I think that we put together what was discussed in the field. We just want to be clear that the portion of the coastal bank adjacent to Jefferson Shores Road that runs parallel with the front, that was the front of the garage. That was the area that I think we talked about that would be loamed and seeded. And then we talked about cleaning some of the debris out as we head along the side of the garage and do some more woody vegetation in that as well. And we just,
Yep.
I think it's suitable for the small area. We used inkberry in 3-gallon containers, so I think they're substantial enough to provide some good stabilization quickly at that size, as opposed to, say, a 1-gallon plant. So that's what we're looking at. We just wanted to make sure that they remove all the debris, whatever is there. And there was a lot of different kinds of things. I couldn't label them all. I didn't know what they all were, so I just said remove everything, etc. And we think that'll suffice.
Okay.
We added a limit of work line to the plan. I don't think we might not have had that on there before, but where we have a patio and things, some stairs being removed on the, whatever it is, the west side of the building, we thought that limit of work would kind of confine all the construction activities that are expected on the site. I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, questions? Kwame,
No questions, thank you.
Denise,
No questions.
Michael,
No questions, thank you.
Nicole,
No questions, thank you.
Carol,
No questions, thank you.
Jessica.
Is inkberry a native species?
A native species. I don't know if it's a native species, but I don't believe it's an invasive.
Yeah, inkberry is pretty common around here. So whether it's planted or in the wild, it's pretty common. So I would say it's a native plant for this area.
It's on DEP's list of a coastal bank plant, so that's where I obtained that plant from. That's the one I picked.
The only other thing I would comment on is for erosion control, I would want to see something more than just silt fence by itself. I am going to recommend there be, because this is going to be a fairly significant digging project, if you will. So I just don't think silt fence on its own is going to be sufficient. So typically I always recommend hay bales and silt fence, but that's the only other comment that I have.
Existing brick landing and steps on the west side of the house, doesn't that look like the steps come up and end on the property line? The existing,
On the west side, existing brick landing and steps, we're removing and disposing of those. R&D is underneath that notation, so we're taking those off. They will not be part of new construction. They go pretty close to the property line.
okay. And I just want to make sure that all material is removed from the site as the construction As the demo occurs and construction starts, there'll be nothing stored on the site of the debris. They're going to be storing material to build, I understand that, but as the house is removed, that's all removed from site.
Yeah, and that'll probably be loaded directly into dumpsters
yeah.
when it's being done.
I so focused on the violation that I forgot to look at the rest of the plan. Okay. Any other comments on this? We've asked our questions. Would you like to comment on the, no one in the audience wants to comment on this?
Madam Chair,
Yes,
did we address fines or anything with this?
I believe we have already, haven't we?
Yeah, he was fined previously for that.
Yep.
Move to
Yep.
close the hearing.
I have a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. The hearing is closed.
Have this one.
Someone wants to take a stab at this one?
Move to accept the project with the standard order of conditions per the revised plan, removal and replanting of disturbed area with the 3-gallon plants for better stabilization, and add hay bales in addition to the silt fencing, and all demo material must be removed from site as the project progresses.
I believe that is the motion.
And the condition that the violation portion be done
Oh, that's
before
right, too.
any house permitting is granted.
Okay, and
The
that the
violation be corrected
Corrected
before the
prior
house
to
is
the- okay.
started.
start, okay.
Yep, prior to the work on the house. So that be
Second.
the motion. I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 600. Thank you.
Very good, thanks very much.
Standard,
Appreciate it.
don't do anything until you get the paperwork from Mr. Bichette.
Thank you all. Have a nice evening.
Oh, I can finally put the Brady folder away.
Do we have the minutes to,
Yep, I'll get to them.
okay.
Yep. Okay, we have a certification of compliance.
Yes, this project was for the reconstruction of a seawall, or adding to a seawall at 21 Bayberry. This was the same house where they had built the shed that looks like a second house. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, anyway, this was for their seawall reconstruction project. They have completed that according to the order of conditions, so I would recommend the certificate of compliance for that project.
I move that we issue the certificate of compliance to Tina Yule.
I have a motion.
Second.
And I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, approved. All right, we have minutes. We have July 6th, 22. Mr. Bichette made some changes and mailed them back out to us.
There was a lot of just general misspellings of names throughout the whole document that had to be sort of redone, and a couple other corrections as well. So that's really what the nature of most of the changes are, and a couple formatting things, but generally I think it's the way it needs to be at this point. Plus I added Sandy Slavin's signature area, because that was not included in the original draft, so that's in there as well, so.
And we
That's
were
for-
all, I have
Which
one,
set of minutes is that, the 720?
7-6.
7/6, July
okay.
6th. 1, 2, 3, 4. All six of us were there at the time.
I was not present for the 8/17 meeting.
Yeah, we're not doing that
We're
one.
on-
We're
we're
just
on
doing
7-6.
7-6.
Oh,
Right
I'm
now.
sorry.
7/6
Move to accept the minutes
of 7/6.
of 7-6.
I have a motion.
Second.
And I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, approved at 600. We have another set of minutes for July 20th. Again, sent out, Mr. Bichette made his comments you heard earlier. All six of us were here for the July 20th minutes.
Those were updated, Dave, also.
Yes.
Move to accept the minutes.
I had to do a lot of correcting of spelling of your name.
Second.
3 different ways.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. 600. And, okay, now, I received a document regarding harassment training. I have not sent it out. I forgot to send it out to everybody here. Some of you have already received it for other committees. I will be sending it on its way. What you do is read it and sign the last page, and then turn the page into, I don't know, BOS.
I gave mine to Dave.
Yeah,
He said he would.
you can give it to me and I'll get it to who it needs to go
Darlene.
to. It needs to go to the Human Resources Department, so.
Well, it's, what am I, 7? I mean, it's one of those things, I'm gonna sign it once and give it directly to her.
Yeah, that's
To go for
fine.
my 7, so I just wanted to let you know, some of you have it, some of you have not received it, because I failed to forward it, and you will be getting it shortly. And,
Do I only need to sign one copy?
yep,
Okay. So as long as Dave turns in that one copy, she'll know to put it with
Well,
open space as well?
it'd be worthwhile to put your committees on it, if you
Yeah,
have more than,
I listed my committee at the bottom of it so that you knew which one I was with.
so you list your 2.
Okay.
Okay. Then we have a time and a date for our public meeting, October 17th at 4:30 for the discussion of the bylaw filing changes, fee changes.
Changes.
It's here in this building, in this room at 4:30 because somebody's committed in here at 6. So they figured if we start at 4:30, we should definitely be out of here by then, by the time the next committee comes in. Is there anything else you wanted to cover for today?
I have a question.
Yeah?
The top of the page lists minutes for 4:25,
Yep.
8:03, 8:17, and 9:07.
What it is that we received some feedback that we weren't listing the minutes we were approving. So what I've told to Dave is list every single set of minutes that are outstanding on our agenda, and whatever comes in, we will approve. Therefore, it satisfies this person who's concerned that we weren't listing our minutes, so they're there. So when they do show,
Yeah, so
when they
the
do
other
have them.
sets of minutes that are listed, I have not had a chance yet to proofread. I just received
Okay.
some of those recently, so I have to go through those, and so for the next meeting, we'll have more minutes to
Okay.
approve.
4:25 included in that? I
Yes,
thought we were all
no,
caught
no,
up.
that was the one, that was,
That was the one I was assigned that I haven't finished yet.
Oh, okay. Thank you for taking ownership of that, Dave. I
Yes, that
appreciate
is,
that.
that is my deal to take care of.
That's okay.
Okay.
That was
So-
the 17th? The meeting to approve the fees is the 17th, is that what you
Yes.
said?
October 17th.
October 17th at 4:30.
Will I be able to use the copy machine?
Yes, we
Some
can get
copies.
copies made, yes.
And so Mr. Bichette will be doing the agenda for that 17th meeting,
Yes.
okay? Anything else? Okay,
Holy crow.
can someone say the words?
I move that we close the hearing,
Adjourn.
Nope,
adjourn the meeting.
during the meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
600 at 7:08.
It's a record, I
Okay.
think.
It'll never
Yeah,
happen.
but keep in mind, folks, everything that was supposed to be public hearing will now be on the next
Next
meeting,
one.
so don't
Yes.
breathe too hot.
Yeah.